Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm Alan, and this is Stationeers. Uh, oh right, we're processing some gas. Let me. What was I working on yesterday? Yeah, the room's good, nice. Or, I mean, we could take a bath now. It's even a little warm. I connected this to this heat exchanger, so hopefully we'll get that to cool down a bit more. It has come down. I think it was at 36°C. And this has gone up because this should have been at 25. That's okay. It'll equalize. Oh, I stuck a vent down here so that I can top the room off with CO2 because yeah, we were getting through it. The power's doing well. We're headed back down now because we hit the threshold of 80%. So the powerhouse will stop running the gas fuel generator. Well, I think it should. It might be on over there. Oh no, that's the screen on the filtration. Let me just, don't need to carry that around. I decided I want to be able to dump off pollutant and CO2. I'll still let this system keep processing it because it'll stop when these get up to, I forget, 30 or 40 MPa. Well, pollutant I might have to play with because it's ending up in that, in that liquid tank. Let's make sure we're spawning here. I don't know why I doubt. It seems like the kind of thing that would be bugged, like some sort of weird situation would cause it to forget your spawn point. I feel like I've run into that in this game or something else. How are we doing? Oh, not quite ready. Oh, oh, I finished them. I made some chocolate bars. I brought down a trader who wanted chocolate bars, so I made a bunch of those. But I thought I would show off the LArRE code. So LArRE's been turned off so I could let him demo it, and now I think, yeah, like most, if not all of these have gone all the way to seeding, so he's got a bit of work to do. Yeah, it's looking, yep. Oh, I left this one because I wanted to take one of the rice and put it here. So let's look at the way LArRE's supposed to work. As is normal, I have just a bunch of constants. I try to keep the settings ones up here, and then we get down into the ones that I use for the whatchamacallits, the load batch, etc. It's a little time consuming. It consumes lines to put these up here, but I think it can be easier to read, and then if I want to change, if I change my mind on what I want to call this, and I've used display in 5 places, I don't have to change this in 5 places. I don't know. This is not the LArRE code, dummy. This is the LArRE code. I don't know why it does that. It pauses. So yeah, same thing. Constants, aliases. So LArRE's on D0, and then we've got the export and import bins. I was using an LED to show what station he's at. We'll alias the station he's supposed to be at to R3, like this is his destination. I have a debug routine I can enable and disable that I just adjust it to what I'm looking for at a given moment. This one we're going to have a reset and then a main. So I decided, like, when we hit reset, we want to see if he's got something in his hand. Otherwise, skip over the next 3 lines. If he does have something in his hand, go to unload, and then jump back to reset. And then if he still has something in his hand, that means that he had something in the hand and in the, what do they call the other slot? I don't know. The other hand slot. Hit his forearm. I don't know. Up his sleeve. There we go. So then we'll just read to R0 where he's at. If it's not equal to 0, then we'll jump straight to main. Otherwise, we'll set it to station 1 so that whenever we reset, he immediately starts working, and it'll attempt to start from station 1. We'll just write that to his position, and then we'll jump to wait for idle. Wait idle just yields, reads whether he's idle. If it's not 0, it returns. Otherwise, it jumps back to wait idle and keeps checking until he's idle. So then we return to whence we came. It'll put us after here, it'll put us into main. We'll read where he's at. If it's 0, we'll jump to halt. This is actually really just for after he's made it all the way around. This is what stops him. We'll look. So target prefab hash looks at what object is beneath him. And so if it's not a hydroponics, I probably could add a, if it's not a hydroponics or a hydroponics device, then just skip. We'll go to the next. Sorry, that's not next like in Python. That's a subroutine called next. That just adds 1 to the current station, divides it by the total number of stations, and takes the remainder. That just ensures we don't go out of range. Sets him to that station, does jump to wait to idle, and then goes back to main again. Instead of returning, because at this point, after we've done next, we just want to do the main loop again. It's all right. Clearing my throat, pause. And so we go through all of that again. Check to see if we're at station 0. Check to see if we're above hydroponics. I say above. It could be beside, depending on how your track is laid out. This checks if the device under him, this is 255, is occupied. And because I just wanted Larry to replant whatever I had already put there, if it's empty, I just want to go to next. So it does the same thing. It just increments the number, comes back around to next. If obviously the next one is empty, he'll move on again. So we'll load from the slot, the growth, and the seeding state. And I'll just add those together. At one point I must have been debugging those and not have removed that line. So if the growth state is 5 and seeding is 1, we'll have 6, which means it's gone to seed and it's ready to harvest. So branch, if R0 is greater than 6, go to harvest. The same thing is true as if we get to here. If it equals 5, because actually, I'm not sure if this works right. I don't know if I've tested it. My goal was to have it so that, like, if the code was interrupted, then it would come back through here and it would see the 5 and harvest, but this might actually harvest if I pull the seeds off. It doesn't seem to yeah, I'll have to mess with that. Otherwise, if it's less than 5, less than or equal PLT, sorry, branch less than 5, it means it's growing, so go next. So if it's 6 or 5, harvest. If we drop all the way through, we'll just yield and start the loop over again. Actually, we probably should do next there, but I'm going to leave it because it works right now. What harvest does is it activates, which tells him to try to pick something from underneath him. We'll load occupied and growth again. This is similar, so if the sum of growth and occupied is greater than or equal to 5, set R1, and then and together R1, R0. So like if it's occupied and bigger than 5, if that's not 0, continue harvesting. So what this does is it'll pull everything out until it gets to the point where it's not occupied. Once we get down to here, sorry, let me back up. So we only get here when it's already gone to seeding. So the first thing it does is it grabs a seed, and then the next item it grabs will be plant, which causes the seed to get pushed into that, up his sleeve. And then it just goes on harvesting everything else, which just stacks. I suppose to be thorough, I could see if the hand is full and also go to unload, but I don't think that'll be necessary. So after we get down to the empty pot harvest position thingy, hydroponics. Jump with return to unload return. Yeah, okay, so I have two slight weird behaviors. So unload return, hang on. Unload return is is the outer function that will basically be called when we hit some sort of condition. To sort of track the state, I was just writing random stuff to the housing, so we can just ignore that. But this is the first time I'm really using the stack, so we'll just put the current return address on the stack, and then we will branch with return to here to unload. Unload has this little stub where it also pushes the current return address onto the stack. And we will set the destination, not our station variable, but we're just going to directly set LArRE to the destination of the import bin. We'll yield, and then in this inner loop, we'll jump to wait idle, so it'll wait until he gets to import bin. We'll hit activate, which will cause him to unload the first thing in the bin. We'll wait for the bin to we'll wait for LArRE to return back to idle. We'll cycle the bin. If the occupant hash, now we'll look at what's in the hand now. If it's a seed bag of tomatoes, switchgrass, pumpkin, or cocoa, we'll jump back to here, and this will cause him to unload the second thing, which will be the seeds. If it's not one of those things, it won't do that, so it'll just fall through here. We'll pull off the stack the previous address and we'll jump back to it, which is probably unload return. It's probably this guy here. This is again just tracking where we're at. And then we'll set him back to the station he came from and jump to wait idle. So this will just sit here until he gets to where he's supposed to be. After that, we'll pop the return address off and we'll return to that, which will bring us back to harvest, where we came from. And we'll fall through oh no, I have one more. Yeah, so we'll come through to here, come back to here, we'll yield, we'll load into the slot the class of what's currently in his hand. If there's anything left in his hand and it's a seed, then we'll activate. So he'll replant the seed that we held on to, and then we'll jump back around to next, which will send us back through to main after. Where is next? Next, we'll increment the destination station and then send him back to main, where he will wait until he gets to his new position, check it to see if it's occupied, etc., etc., etc. So don't make me look dumb, Larry. I know I did that joke already, but I thought it was fun. So that's that first pick, and then he's going to pick until it gets down to empty. He's going to move to the import bin. And Larry seems to be smart enough to pick the shortest path, even though tray number 1 is like the farthest from the import bin. Or one of the farthest anyway. So he'll unload. It checks to see if he still has stuff in his hand. If it's a pumpkin seed, he would have dropped it off, but it's not. So he's coming back. Go faster, dude. We need coffee beans. That's what we need. And then there's the activate to cause him to plant, and then he'll move on, and the whole cycle will repeat. So we'll let him carry on. Like I said, he seems to have a bunch of work to do. Oh, I didn't actually drop off those soybeans. I was thinking when we were looking at the code, that spot that I wasn't sure about. Let's give him a test. I'll pause for a moment. All right, so here he is back on his way to plant that corn, and then I picked the seeds off of this. I want to see what he does. Yeah, I guess that's what I wanted. I don't think I have any other plants to check on in this cycle where it's still growing towards seeding. Oh, I should have taken those out of his hand. Oh, actually, I don't know what he's going to do when he gets here. Well, I think it'll work. I think when he gets back, he'll see that he doesn't have anything in his hand and move on. That's what it should do. Yeah. So we'll plant that. That rice. Rice. I can't reach it. Do I have any others to fill in, or is this all full? I think it's all full. I don't know what I want to remove. Maybe I'll replace some of these ferns with wheat. Actually, you know what? Let's oh, that's not what I meant to do. I think I've got enough ferns. Ah, I did it again. Why did you not have 3? Alright. Alright, so I'll put this stuff away. Oh, I need to cycle that. And let me go get fed and suited up, and I'll show you what else I've been working on. So one of the things I did, I had a bunch of pumpkins from inside, and I thought, let's see if I could accelerate their decay and leave them all spread out in here. I had some of this stuff had gone to decayed food, so I took it in and sent it through, but there wasn't a lot of it, so yeah. What have I been working on? I did a bunch of trading, sold some more fuel, sold some chocolate bars, but I got this guy running, and these guys running, and I have room for a third. So they just feed into this line, which goes into the stacker. The stacker is set to 50. What do we got now? 20. I don't know what we have in here. I actually wasn't really sure how to make this work, but I think it went okay. Basically, we have 2 settings, and then we have one sort of variable we care about. It's the stress. When the stress gets high, when it goes to 100, the thing just grinds to a halt. And if you rev it way up or set this is kind of like combustion limiter. I don't know, a governor basically. If you ramp it up too quickly, you'll send the stress up. If you ramp it up too high but set this too high, you'll send the stress up. I wasn't sure what the best method was, so at first I just did the inverse. I just did 100 minus stress, and that's what I fed into here. And this guy actually goes up to, let's make sure you're off. I think it goes by tens. It doesn't actually, you can't set it to 99. So if you pick between 0 and 100, it just sort of rounds to the nearest multiple of 10. So my first stab was just 100 minus the stress level. So when it first started up, it would, run way up. And then, the stress would shoot up, and so it would dial back, and it would get all the way down, and it just wasn't effective enough. But it got me started. So this one just has a couple safeties. It reads the output pressure. If it's over 10 MPa, we'll go to the E-stop. I actually haven't tested this part yet. I'm waiting for some more ore to come in to be able to do it. If we'll load the reagents, If the LED is not set, we'll skip over this. Otherwise, we'll write how many reagents are in it. If it's greater than or equal to 500, go to the unload sub, which I haven't tested yet. Otherwise, load the RPM, load the stress, divide the RPM by 5.2. It looks like about 530 RPM is the max. So when we get close to the top RPM, we want the limiter to be wide open. So when we get to 550, this will be nearish to 100. And then we'll still do the subtract from 100 the stress. Divide that by 100. Why am I doing that? Oh, because I'm using that as a multiplier for the limiter. So limiter times 1/100th the stress is the throttle. And we'll just set the throttle and the limiter, yield, and we'll loop. E-stop just sets them both to 0 and turns itself off. Unload should hopefully open. I actually don't know if open is this lever or this thing. It says button 3, so what do we have? Do we have a button 3? I don't know. Output connection, pipe output. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's the right open. So open, we have I guess, I don't know if this is, if it's really called a stub. We'll wait. We'll check to see if there's still reagents. If it's greater than 0, continue waiting until it's not 0. When it's not 0, hit open and then return to whence you came, which should just be here, and it should start trying to manage the speed again. So I don't know if I have 70 or sitting here waiting. I was hoping to wait till we did, but let's you're embarrassing me, Centrifuge. I guess I need to throw a little kick in there because my math is causing it to go down to 0. So we should probably, if the RPM is under, let's say, 50, make the minimum 10 or something. I guess if the RPM was under 50. So we see the stress will go up. The RPMs, so this should be basically the RPMs divided by 50. This should go up to 2 soon, yeah. And this guy's already at 30. It's just the straight current RPM, total RPM divided by current RPM. And it seems to work reasonably well. Is it processing already? Or do we really only have 20 over here? We really only have 20 over there. How's that possible? These have been running for a while. Hello? Hello? Alright, well, we don't have enough to actually test the cool unload function. But so this just ramps the RPMs up. I could probably make it a little bit more aggressive, but it's fine. Yeah, that one's the fuel. There's a lot of hot gas here. I was thinking, that's why I started to put these blocks out here. I was thinking about maybe putting the furnace room here, using this hot gas in the furnace, because that's 18. Yeah, in canal is not very hot. That's not very hot. What's the... Is it stellite? Yeah, so we have plenty of heat for stellite. And then I could... What I originally was going to do is send it... Get out of there. I haven't connected it up yet, but I was going to attach it to the mixed gases hot pipe to let the what's-its Starling engine pull the heat off of it. We'll see. Did you find any more? No. Cool. What are you doing? Maybe it needs to be rebooted. Come on, do the thing. Well, I guess I'll have to test that later. So if we turn it off, it should slow down on its own. I haven't done anything to manually reset yet. I think the system should automatically do it. So yeah, I still need some more stuff. So while those mine, I'm gonna call down some more traders. Ooh. I think those are each 500 watts. Yeah. So 2 kilowatts ought to be able to keep this topped up. I guess we must not be getting enough on average out of the powerhouse. Well, we'll see how that holds up. I'm gonna do some trading. Actually, did I say that I caved and just put Cows Are Evil's tracker on a chip? I don't remember if I did or not, but I did. And so it just sits here looking for traders and keeps them contacted, and you just call them down if you like what they're offering, or you can set up a dial and have it prefer certain traders. I've just been calling down whomever I get. O2 can't help you. Carbon dioxide I can do. Food. Bread loaf. That's an expensive box. I'm not going to bother. Can't really, I mean, I have water, but I'm not plumbed up for it. But I can give you $100 worth of CO2. So yeah, I'll do some trading, bring you back in a bit. Oh, so that's a thing. I thought the landing pad networks were effectively insulated, but they're not. They were bleeding heat into the fuel I was leaving in there, so I got to remember to push it out of these storages back into the pipe or all the way back into the. No, I don't want the laptop now. Whatever network it came from. Oh, wrong one. Uh, okay. Wow. Okay, that went fast. Okay, you better be buying quickly. Output. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Good thing I was recording because I mean, well, nothing actually came of it, but that could have been a thing. Did I bother? No. Um, like I have to have all the seeds, right? Mushrooms, corn. Yeah, I've got them all. Actually, I'm looking at the recording time. We're over 30 minutes already, so it's been a bit of a talky episode. But if you found the code explanation interesting or could use it in your play, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments with those too. Otherwise, I will talk to you next time.